So still from my last video, the Gunborg one I just shot, I'm still in the resting squat position. I don't know if you could tell, but I decided that I'm gonna stay sitting like this and I'm gonna watch a Jordan Peterson video. So some of you been wanting me to do more Jordan. See, it's because I don't have my hat. You know, I let my hair breathe for a little bit, and this is what happens. And I'm in a new position, so let me put the hat on. The hat holds all the powers, guys. It helps me be articulate, which is the title of this video, if you couldn't already tell. Jordan Peterson, How to Become Articulate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sending out a lot of love. Yeah, so I just said send me Jordan Peterson videos if you want me to cover them, give you my thoughts on what he says. I've heard like he's a very... I don't exactly know what he is. Let me see what like Wikipedia titles him as. I'm sure he has a different feeling on how he's Canadian clinical psychologist. I wonder how he feels about himself. He's 59. I think he looks really good for his age too. Like I think everyone looks good for their age, but he aged nicely, like really good, like looking dude. Other than that, I thought that this would be a cool one to take for a request since people call me articulated. Probably outside the entertainment, you probably think I'm a goofball online, which is great. I want you to, but yeah, you're feeding into what I'm feeding you. You're feeding on the food I'm handing out. Nah, but in all seriousness, people think I'm very articulated when I conduct my speech. So I just want to see what he sells. Yeah, that's it. I don't even know what more to say. We're here. We're doing it. Shout out to Truly Inspired, because this is where the clip is from. So, you know, if you want me to take down my video, Truly Inspired, I will. Other than that, let's hop into this. Let's see what he says to become articulate.
Incredibly nervous to
big thing I will say in the beginning of this before it even starts. It starts with being yourself and knowing who you are and knowing what you know. That's what I was saying. Like knowing what, like you're almost like your lane that you've been in. And also not being afraid to branch out and listen to people, really listen to people and not knock down ideas. Like, I feel like there's certain things about being articulate, but let me see, because let me look up articulate. So I I'm kind of having the ability to speak fluently. Oh, and coherently. Oh, that's it. Oh, and that's actually pretty simple. Just really know yourself and know what you know and feel confident about what you know. And you'll pretty much do that. I see why people call me articulated now. Okay.
talk in front of you because you've got to be one of the most formidable people that I've ever... Incredibly nervous to talk in front of you because you've got to be one of the most formidable people that I've ever heard of or ever listened to or ever seen. So my question is, again, you're one of the best communicators that I've ever listened to.
Compliment him a bit much, but like not like that, denying that he is like one of them. That's also really subjective, but like you compliment him too much. Have some confidence for yourself.
If I could be half as good.
Kind of felt like he you know, had to reiterate. Like you don't have to reiterate it to someone. Sometimes I don't know. See, that's coming from me, and like I get compliments a lot, and I feel weird about it sometimes. And I just feel like if you over compliment people or even double down, kind of what he did there, double down on saying someone is just great, it's a bit weird at times, but that's also a personal thing.
At you, or at communicating as you are, I would half as good communicators that I've ever listened to. If I could be half as good at you, or at communicating as you are, I would be set. How can I teach myself to do that?
Oh, and
practice.
Oh, and he said practice. Okay, we're going to get into the rest. I don't want to pause too much, but he said to be half as good as you are. There's some things I think about that, but I'll leave it to the end.
You know, really, like, well, there's a couple of things. It helps to read.
Yes.
A lot.
True.
It really helps to write.
I love writing.
So if you want to make yourself articulate, which is a very good idea, then not only should you read, but you should write down what you think. And if you can do that a little bit every day, 15 minutes, Maybe you could steal 15 minutes and do it every day. But if you do that for 10 years, you really straighten out your thinking. If you're going to speak effectively, you have to know way more than you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know? So this is often difficult for beginning lecturers at university because they'll do a lecture on a topic, but they only know as much as they're saying in the lecture. And they get kind of stuck to their notes because of it. But you want to know 10 times as much as you are saying in the lecture, and then you can specify a stepping path through it and elaborate with the other things that you know. But to do that, you have to do a lot of reading.
Okay, so well, I left it up to fate. This is the book I got, that I grabbed from my collection. How the Spiritual World Projects into the Physical Existence, the Influence of the Dead. I agree with him. You have to do a lot of reading. Yeah, I'm very book smart, so I definitely agree with that. There's of course agreements and disagreements. Like, I don't know how I'm trying to word it where it's like, not to sound like, no. You know what I will say is, I feel like it's very varied for everyone, depending on what can make you articulated. But what he said here is very damn. See, when I get videos like this and I have to really give my breakdown or perspective on what they're saying, I have a built program in my head where I don't want to sound like I'm discrediting or shutting someone's beliefs down due to past programming of their title. So I've gained, it's just personal, and I just get this, or it might sound annoying, or I'm flexing or being a little bit ego about it, but it's in the past I've gained respect from people of very high stature, so it's I'm trying to seem as though I don't want to step on. I'm talking too much. Never mind.
Reading, because that's where the synthesizing comes. So that's on the input side, and then on the output side, well, there's some techniques, let's say, is if you're speaking in front of a group, you are not delivering a talk to a group. That's not what you're doing. The talk isn't a packaged thing that you present to a group. There isn't a group. There's a bunch of individuals, and you talk to them.
Yeah.
So when I talk to a group, I always talk to people one at a time. And that makes it easier, too, because you know how to talk to a person. It's can you talk to 1,000 people? Well, probably not, because it's too intimidating.
Okay. I'm with them there. Yeah. See what I'm saying is there's certain things that I want to be petty and pick out, and kind of it's going to shift for each person how you deliver that. Because I feel there's calm people who are really good speakers. There's angry and not angry, but more explosive and high energy speakers, where you're going to have to still, if you hit the line where it's becoming articulate, speaking coherently and stuff like that, then there's your specific personality that is behind that articulated title. I'm making up words now, but you get it? It's there's calm articulated people, there's high energy, so that's what I'm saying. And what he said there was actually, I shown in one of my Lunar's Lost Treasures an award I got, or I didn't show the one for the speaking in front of a group, but I did this with kids, and it was so awesome when I went to different schools talking to kids, and that was actually a fact right there. Talk to one person at a time and give them your attention, then move on. Don't try to. That's really actually good.
There isn't 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
There's
1,000 individuals.
1,000 individuals.
Yeah.
So you just look at an individual and you say something, and you can tell if they're engaged. They look confused, or they look interested, or they look angry, or they look bored, or maybe they're asleep, in which case you look at someone else. And they give you feedback about how you're doing.
Yeah. And that's how I feel like I did really well my first time as well, my ability to connect with people. But I've seen that. That's why I'm going to try to give like my whole thing on it. Oh, it's actually giving me a lot of energy to talk about this because I really like talking to people. So it's like I've noticed it with live streaming too and things like that. It's like live streaming, you can't see their face, but the in-person one is a very real thing. I had to also improvise. I had nothing to talk, like the topic of what we were talking about had to be prior knowledge, so that played in my favor. But then I also improvised a scene and set it up. Oh, I wish I could go into detail how dope it was. I don't know if I did in the Lunar's Lost Treasures, but there's a way. I swear it's like winning the crowd. I'm a my past dancer life. I just think about winning the crowd and how it translates over into psychology. There's a lot I can get into. But
and so one thing is to have something to say.
Have something,
yeah. But the next thing is pay attention to who you're talking to.
Exactly.
So the probability that if you pay attention to the individuals that you're talking to, that your natural wealth of social skill will manifest itself is extremely high. And so you don't deliver a talk to an audience. That's a really bad way of thinking about it. You're actually engaged in a conversation with an audience. Even if they're not talking. They're nodding and shifting position and, looking like this or and you can pull all that in and use it to govern.
Oh, he's a beast. Damn, we think on the same level. I guess I'm just like there's like little things I'm nitpicking, but man, being this dude, I really feel
the level at which you're addressing the entire audience. The last thing I would say is, well, having the aim to be a good communicator is a good start. And you think, well, I could buttress that to some degree. Well, there isn't anything that you can possibly, this is the whole point of a liberal education, there isn't anything that you can possibly do that makes you more competent in everything you do than to learn how to communicate. I don't care if you're going to be a carpenter. I mean, being a carpenter, by the way, is very difficult, especially if you're a good carpenter. But if you're good at communicating as a carpenter, you're like 10 times better as a carpenter.
Yeah, communication is great for everything. And I'm sure him as a psychologist would tell you this and let you know, or any psychologist or anyone with sense really. Yeah, being a good communicator is really good. And I've seen it from my life. A lot of people appreciate that I can talk. I mean, damn, I was a spiritual consultant. So I was didn't have an official degree, but I was like a therapist for a lot of people. So I see it. And the first thing to start, though, where I was nitpicking wasn't at what Jordan Peterson was saying, but it was what the guy was saying. So, or what the guy who asked him the question is you should take up that confidence, because I believe in taking the frame before it's already here. So this gets into a bit of, I don't know if it's actually esoteric beliefs or just spiritual beliefs in general. The Four Agreements can play a role too, or certain books where it talks about this, where you embody what you want to be now. Bring that energy here. So you should see yourself as a good communicator before you're actually a good communicator. Start to see yourself and feel that, and naturally along with the practice and the action of doing that, because that's an action too, maintaining that mentality of feeling like a good, like that's training your mind. Like everything when it has to do with mentally, like repetitiously doing things, that is training. So you do that and also do the actions to do it. So like he said, reading the books and stuff like that. And over time it will come. But have that confidence that you are half as good as you are now. Because he said how half as good as you are. Don't worry about him. Like say just like, but I know it's like the question thing is, that's why I said I'm nitpicking. But it's like, have confidence, be like, yeah, I'm always on this energy. That's why I'd be feeling like I don't want to seem like I'm disregarding that he just asked the question, but it's just like I could see from how he delivered it right in the beginning, his confidence level or how he felt, because doubling down on the whole. And I do mean you're a great communicator. You don't have to do that. Like if you see yourself on the level of being a good communicator as him, which of course he wouldn't, so it wouldn't come out like that, but like that also helps. It just builds the identity. Is basically what I'm saying. Is that guy, after Jordan Peterson gives him this gold, he should take this gem and make it into his own for real, and sit in that chair feeling like he is as good as a communicator as Jordan Peterson, because it goes back to the whole thing where we're all just humans, but we all have different paths. So be a good communicator in your field, like he's saying.
And this is something that the liberal arts colleges, I think, I don't know if they've forgotten it, but they don't do a very good job of marketing. It's like, well, what's the use of a bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Arts? It's like, well, you can think, you can write, you can speak, you've read something. It's like, the economic value of that is incalculable. The people that I've watched in my life who've been spectacularly successful they have skills. Clearly, that's a minimum precondition. But they're also very good at articulating themselves. And so whenever they negotiate, they're successful.
That's what I've noticed too.
Well, that's kind of like the definition of success in life, right? You negotiate and you're successful. It doesn't mean you win. Because if you're a good negotiator, if you're a really good negotiator, everybody walks away from the negotiation thrilled.
100%. This dude is cracked.
And so then people line up to do things with you. So, and that's all dependent on your ability to communicate. So, practice.
See, yeah, I guess coming from me, why you should be more selfish. I really do enjoy this dude. I like him a lot, and I feel like I'm picking up on his wave because it's showing a reflection of myself a lot more. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that, and that's why they go to talk to him, because they resonate with the guy. But especially, I really like what he said there about the school, or like the liberal arts have seen the forgotten, because that's school in general. I feel like there's so much. It's not even I know that there's so much programming based on who I've talked to, and it's like but going back to my thing a little bit about embodying it, is that's what I did. There was no real practice, I guess, for me. I guess I'll say I'm naturally talented, but it was the consistency and persistence in believing that I was a good speaker already. And that reflected in my reality, if we want to get like, esoteric. So I'm saying embody that energy that you're a good speaker. And you could practice and read books and do all that stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the craziest book reader and I have like hundreds of books. Though I've read I have awards for reading way too many books. But I feel like we all got those as kids, but I was actually reading those books. I think top books I've read in my life, maybe 800. Is that the thing? Is that a lot of books? Okay, that's probably a lot of books. A lot of time to read when you're, kind of young, going through the nerd stuff. Geek stuff. I don't even know what to call it. Geeks are gamers, nerds are, yeah. But I just say embody it, okay? You guys know I'm the spiritual dude, so I'm saying embody the frame of what you see yourself to be or what you be. You are it now. Be it now. You are it now, and this is TI, since it's truly inspired. Flip it around. Be it. Be inspired truly in this moment. That's pretty cool. That was actually good. Damn. I said a lot. Stretched the video to 18 minutes. Holy shit. It was a 5-minute video. No, I like Jordan Peterson, though. I've heard him say some things sometimes, and I'm like, I kind of raise an eyebrow, but for the most part, I agree with a lot of what he says. I like, and it's funny that just the topic of being Canadian, because one of my moderators is Canadian. And I was like, can I be honorably Canadian? Because I'm mostly just a nice and chill person, and that's like the stereotype. But I was just, jokes and stuff, don't worry. But yeah, he seems like a cool person. And to that guy, if I was talking to that guy, Jordan's obviously going to handle it from more of his studies, and like he did. And he handled it too from just a basic standpoint of practice. But when he mentioned liberal arts and stuff like that, if I was telling someone how to be more articulated, it'd be more on the whole, I don't want to say faith in yourself sort of things, but I think that's the best way to explain it. I'd be I would say read too. And exactly like I said in the beginning, know what you're talking about. That's the biggest thing, because if you know what you're talking about, you'll be more confident in delivering what you're about to say. And if you feel kind of shifty on something you talk about, you shouldn't talk about it until you have more knowledge. And you can even confidently say, which will help you too, is confidently and honestly denying your knowledge behind something. Does that make sense too? So it's I have this book in front of me, and you probably and then I'll start talking about I don't want to get into it, but and you'd probably what the hell? And some people will try to make arguments against things or sciences or what is it? Is that what this book is? It's philosophy. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, nonetheless, much love, Moonlight. I'll see y'all in the next one. And remember, just be it. Be it. Don't, of course they're there to ask Jordan Peterson questions, but once you get that one question or things like maybe even self-help books and you start to like get it, really embody that energy. Really feel like you're on a path to doing great. Because I've seen people get in this loop where they watch videos like this or attend so many sessions until they get it, which is good because your mind is programmed by repetition and symbols. But really start taking that power to yourself and crafting your own like mastery of something. So take what he said and really change it into your own form. Even what I say. That's what I always tell people. Because like Jordan Peterson, or I believe masters make masters. So Jordan Peterson is obviously a master in his craft from what people believe. Make another masters. All right. I think I'm rambling. I don't even know anymore. But it felt good to get that out. So that's the video. Much love and Moonlight again. See you in the next one. Peace.